It's like a tree falling in the forest and no one hears it, right? It's like, what's the point of being able to make stuff, make computer software, if you can't actually put it in front of people? And so our goal on the first day is not to find out how awesome of a programmer someone is. Our goal on the first day is to show someone from soup to nuts, here's how you get your work product from your fingertips, from your chair, through your head, fingertips, keyboard, out into the internets, so that people can laugh at pictures of funny cats. That's the first piece. The second piece is this slide, which I totaled around a lot. It was given to me by a guy named John Helm. And it was of a survey. They asked people about what causes job satisfaction and what causes job dissatisfaction. You can see there's about 3,000 or 4,000 data points up there. And then the results are organized, roughly speaking, in order of satisfaction. And you can see these things at the top that cause people to have extreme job satisfaction are things like achievement, recognition, the work itself, responsibility, advancement, growth. I think all of us would probably feel good about those things. And the things down here at the bottom are stuff like status and working conditions and policy and administration is a real big dissatisfactor. You see salary actually is here is kind of in between. It isn't that important to people. Well, it's important, but it isn't a big, it causes neither satisfaction or dissatisfaction in a lot of cases. And what's interesting about this slide is that there's two interesting things about this slide. The first is the things that cause people to be satisfied at work are not the opposite of the things that cause people to be dissatisfied at work. You make less of these things, you make less policy and administration, you haven't made satisfaction for people, you've just made them less dissatisfied. But that's actually a digression from the main point, which is this is the stuff that in a normal company you do on your first day. You fill out paperwork, you get a red stapler for your desk, maybe you meet your teammates, you know, stuff like that. You don't do any of this stuff that makes you really enjoy your work. And so this is a huge driver of why people really, really like doing stuff on their first day, because that's what we get satisfaction at work. Okay, that's the second reason. Third reason is a little bit of code. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. And this is the first day someone's going to be part of your team. And you really get a chance to show them what is it going to be like to be on your team. Is it a day where you're going to get to be engaged and productive and contribute? Or is it a day where you're going to sit around at a desk by yourself, sort of fiddling with some papers, maybe trying to get access to some servers or something, or maybe get your email set up. So you never get a second chance to get a second start. And I like to illustrate the sum of these three things with a little graph that I drew. So here what we have on the x-axis is time, T, and on the y-axis we have speed, or up to speed, S.
Did you draw this?
What's that?
Did you draw this?
Yeah, I used Excel. And actually, no, I have a 9-year-old, and he drew this. And this line here, this is the full speed line. Okay. So a normal company, you sort of start off slow. You do some paperwork on your first day. You know, maybe your boss gives you a little project to work on after the first week, and you get the speed with your team, and you sort of chug along, and eventually, after some amount of time, you hit full speed. Well, we do this thing. I got my talk a little mixed up because I need the next slide. We get you going up to full speed on the first day. Inevitably, on the second day or so, you fall back down. You know, you got to figure out how to really do stuff. And then you get going a lot faster. We find people come up to speed a lot faster and enjoy it a lot more. If I could have a third dimension of this graph, it would be satisfaction as well.
Hey Scott, what did you show the person drowning?
Oh, that's actually the next slide. So what we have here is a philosophy that I synthesized this philosophy. Sometimes we take people when they're new and we try and put them in shallow water. We give them little tasks. We say, here's a little task, go off on your own and do it, and don't drown because it's shallow water, you'll be okay. This is a totally opposite approach. This says we're going to put you in really deep water, but we're going to give you great lifeguards to go with you so that you don't drown. And so you'll get a lot of confidence knowing that you can swim with the sharks, so to speak. And so let me now transition to telling you how we do that. It's a 4-step process, effectively. So the first thing is we're prepared. We be prepared. So this is sort of going to get into a little nitty-gritty, just some bullet points here. First is candidates know, we talk to candidates about this. When you get hired, we tell you this. You know that on your first day, this is what your first day is going to be like, so you come in with that expectation. We have a computer and the right software sitting on their desk when they get here. It's not like, Eli, how long did you have to wait for a computer when you started at your last company?
Like 2 weeks.
2 weeks to be a developer and you can't even have a computer? it's like not giving a ditch digger a shovel, right? So we have all that stuff ready. We have accounts are all set up. Access instructions are all there, ready to go. So everything's set up in advance there. We have a development environment setup guide. So developers have to set up their machine so that they can write the code. And we have a 17-step or something like that guide for how to do it. And there's downtime in that guide while certain things are installing. And we use that time to fill out the necessary paperwork, the proof of legal right to work and stuff like that. And then we have a handful of bootstrapping scripts to make it easier. The one I like to talk about is our database schema manager. Makes it so that we can basically build a database with sort of a push of a button. You don't have to like manually get it all configured yourself. And as a side note, that script we are going to open source. There's a conference, alt.net 2011. It is out in Redmond in a couple of weeks. I think it's sold out with just this. The organizer was here earlier. Oh, he's right there. Is it sold out?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, unlucky for you. So there's an open source hackathon there, and we're going to take the database stuff and open source it so that other people can use that. So anyway, long story short is step one is we're prepared. Step two is we control the change, right? It's not like I get a new engineer and I just say, go make some changes to the site. That'd be crazy, right? No, we pick a very small and specific task, a minor bug fix or a code change, something that you really can't screw up, to be perfectly honest with you. Because again, the point here is not about coding chops. It's about learning how to go from your fingertips out in front of customers all in one day. The third thing, probably the most important thing, is we assign a mentor. And it's not like, hey, you're the new guy or gal, so go talk to Eli if you have any questions. It's Eli, you're going to sit here with John all day, and you're going to help him make this happen. And you're going to guide him through the process and so on and so forth, because sort of as the title talk, even on the first day, you can't even find the bathroom by yourself. You need somebody to help you out, right? So there's no way you're going to be able to figure this all out on your own if you want to have it happen. And we don't make sure the mentor doesn't have any other tasks or projects or responsibilities going on that day. Like I said, we set them side by side. And one of the complaints that I've received is, well, you just wasted a developer day. I just wasted Eli's day, like helping somebody out. Well, Eli, when you started that last place where you had 2 weeks to wait for a computer, how many days were wasted before you were productive?
Oh, at least a month.
At least a month, right? So it's not wasted at all. The ROI on that one developer day is huge. And then the last thing is Kaizen, always trying to improve. And so after 2 weeks, I send people who start on the team an email. I said, hey, it's been 2 weeks. How's it been going? Give me your feedback. And what could we improve? And so we're continually working to improve the process. I keep a list of things that we have to improve. An example is recently we had someone start, and on that day the internet here in the office was acting up, was having internetitis or whatever you get when the internet doesn't work. And so it took a long time for him to download certain things off our intranets that he needed. And so it's like, okay, we're going to take all the stuff that you need and we're going to burn it to a DVD so it's right there on the desk. You don't have to have the potential risk that the internet's not working. So that's in essence how we do it. So to summarize really quickly before I take you into the very last part of the presentation to get you out of now this lull into some laughs, is we try and shoot people off like a rocket ship. We feel like it makes them more satisfied with their job and gets them up to speed faster. And the way we do it's pretty simple. It's by being really thoughtful and planning it out. We're prepared in advance. We make sure we assign a mentor is really, really important, and we're always trying to improve it. And so I'm happy to take a few questions, but before I do that, I always like to take this opportunity to show off a few of my favorite lolcats. I love this one. Now this one is, I'm spreading them out across the website. That's from our cat site, I Can't Has Cheezburger. We have a dog site called I Has a Hot Dog, and this next one, some people think this next one's cruel. So you've been warned. I don't know, is the dog like tired of being dragged around the yard, or is the dog feel bad for the little girl? Now we have a news and politics site called Pundit Kitchen. This one's from a few years ago, but it's really, I think it's really good. And the last thing I've got is.
That doesn't work well if you're presenting in Texas.
But this one works well if you're presenting in Texas. So that's what I've got today. I'm happy to answer any questions about how we onboard people here if you'd like.